My name is Dave Anderson, and I'm a photographer and filmmaker. I live in Little Rock, Arkansas in the United States. I'm originally from Michigan, and I do photography and film that's mostly related to portraiture and people and stories, and have a focus on particular places. Rough Beauty is a project that I began about 8 years ago, and it was the first project I did in a sort of cohesive way as a photographer. I haven't been a photographer my whole life, and this was in my first year of studying photography and trying to become a full-time photographer. And I drove through an area of rural Tennessee and came across this very odd man, and he mentioned that he was from Texas, and I said, "Oh, I'm moving down to Beaumont." He's like, "Beaumont, eh? A lot of black people there. You might want to look at Vidor." I'm like, "Oh," and he's like, "No black people there." Now, I'm not saying they run them off, but they got a real active Klan. When I got down to Texas, I went and I started asking the film professor, or the photography professor that I was studying with about Vidor, and some other people about Vidor, and they're all like, "Who told you about Vidor? Stay away from that place." So of course I wanted to go, and everyone said that it was in fact a Klan town, and that's why I was interested in it. That's why I showed up. I really started becoming, spending a lot of time photographing all kinds of people there, and I just drive around every day for about 7 or 8 months that I photographed there intensely, and then I went back periodically for about another 1.5 years until the project was completed. The image that's on the cover of the book is of a girl holding a chicken. You can't really tell it's a chicken in the photo, and it's a kind of, I think it's sort of a magical moment with her. Her hair is blowing, and she's turned her head in a certain way, and she's sort of forgotten about me. And I love that image. I found that the people that I got the most interesting pictures of that were that might not have initially agreed, generally it seemed to happen where I didn't show up to take their picture. I showed up to take a picture of something else. Like I'd notice some yard art, or I'd see an old car that I wanted to take a picture of, and I'd just knock on their door and say, "Can I take a picture of your old car?" And it was an honest, genuine question. I wasn't doing it because I was hoping there'd be some fascinating character in the house. I just did it because I liked the car and I wanted to take a picture of it. But, then they'd sort of, start asking me questions, and after I'll be like, "Hey, well, can I take your picture?" And they'd be like, "Okay." Whereas if I'd knocked on the door, said, "I need to take your picture," they'd be like, "Why?" There was something about this place that was very particular, and a little bit of it made me nervous, but I also I come from a place that I sort of fiercely define myself as being from, and I noticed that people from Vidor fiercely define themselves as being from Vidor, and so I actually identified with that and respect it. I don't like people who cover up where they're from. I like people who are proud of where they're from, whether it's cool or not cool to be from there.